Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Process of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 19th of April, 2025. The topic inside the room is this great fire of God. Right? Go into that, its characteristics, and break down understanding of that. Okay, you go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine, get the meat out. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Our hours that we're live is Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 to 9 Central Time. We have our men's advanced Bible study on Thursday nights. It's 7 to 9 Central Time. 2 Shabbat classes on the Sabbath, 1 in the morning from 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we have our evening Shabbat class to close the Sabbath out on from 6 to 7 Central Time. Then we have advanced Bible study on Sundays, and it starts at 5 p.m. Central Time. And then on our sister channel, we have our women's advanced Bible study every Thursday from 7 to 9 Central Time. So any of those times that we're live, you want to come in and engage, deal with us. I mean, you're welcome. Okay. So with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books that was given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of Hosts. It consists of our laws, our statutes, culture, a way of life as Hebrews. Okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We're going to do a prayer, read the Psalms. We have some current events, some need to know information. We open it up for anybody with any questions or comments, any dialogue. Then we go into our topic for discussion, which I mentioned earlier, is dealing with this great fire and all that's surrounding it. We'll do a breakdown on that. Okay. So with that being said, then we'll pick a scripture at the end before we close out. Okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. O Lord, and uprightness belongeth unto Thee. Therefore, we come before Thee at this hour, seeking our face, looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before Thee as our servants David and Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did. For we desire to walk after Thee, O Lord, and to keep Your commandments, the testimony, and the statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by Your prophets. O Lord, allow Thy face to shine upon Thy people, and hear our plea, hear and do, and hide not Thy face from us, for we need You so very much at this hour. Peace be unto You. Okay, let me read a song. Okay. Okay. Okay, I read Psalm 19, the creation and the covenants of God. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the ends of the world. In them have He set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the ends of heaven, and His circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. Testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, everlasting, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is a great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. So right there, what I just read, the last verse, it's another witness who our redeemer is. It wasn't JC. So back here in Psalms, he says in verse 14, it's a Psalm of David. And David says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, right? O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. So we know JC ain't the Lord. So whoever this Lord is, which we know is the Lord of hosts, Michael, that's his redeemer. He says, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. So they already had a redeemer. But anyway, you look at the first part of the Psalm 19, you can see where uh, it's telling you, it's laying out what we have to do in order to deal with the Lord in an upright manner, and to be able to overcome sin and wickedness that's in the earth. It says, verse 13, keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. So if you go up, in order to deal with verse 13, you have to go up and see. He says, 5, which is as a bridegroom coming out of the chamber and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the ends of heaven, it's the Lord of hosts, his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, right? So don't need nobody to come die for it. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, make the Lord of hosts, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, like I just said, the Torah, the law, the first 5 books. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoice in the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. Judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired as they be than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter than any honey or the honeycomb. So we don't need nobody. When you read that in the right contents, why would he have somebody here to come and supposedly refine the law when he tells you right here, the law of the Lord is perfect. Okay? Any comments?
Shalom, everyone. And so, how would we deal with those evil spirits that rise up against us, um, testing us with the Lord of hosts, how good He is to us? How we deal with those spirits that's still here that can't sin?
Can you say that again?
I said, how can we deal with those spirits that can't ascend up and back up into heaven? That's down here, like the spirit of evilness, the spirit of lies, the spirit of lust, those spirits, those evil spirits that come when we're, I guess, when our guard is down and it jumps on us as a whole, because there's so much torture and things in this world. I'm seeing that the spirit, how that spirits jump into people. How would we deal with those?
Well, by keeping his laws and his statutes and learning how they operate, and that's how you, the more you know, the more you learn on how they operate, the more you're able to shun them, or like he says, Moses, Abraham, they excused evil. So you can't excuse evil if you don't understand what it is, and when it comes around, or when you're under attack. But once you know that, you're able to excuse it by rebuking it, right?
Shalom. Yes, sir. So we, as a whole, as the more we learn about the Lord of Hosts and take Him as our all, that's when the spirit starts to turn us away from the Lord by jumping and doing things, or even getting into our friends' parents and sort of things like that. Because I can't remember the verse that when the spirit went into um, one of the one of the Lord's people and tried to make him do bad. So that's what I'm speaking on.
Like the spirit's been there. It's when you come into the knowledge of the Most High, you become aware. Like I was saying, you're thinking that these bad suggestions and wicked things that's coming to you, being suggested to you, is part of you, but it's not. And we found out that the angels came down, slept with women, and created giants. The giant died, and that wicked spirit is here on earth, bound here. That's what's, you're being attacked, but you're thinking that it's something that's coming from you, but it's these spirits outside. And so you over time, the more you learn, the more you understand, you're able to recognize it. Whether it's in the Pope or Michael Jackson, or you are able to recognize wicked spirits when they come around, no matter who they in, and then you deal with that accordingly. But before you found that out, you was being manipulated and coerced and all that, not understanding what it was. So that's how that works. The knowledge, the awareness of it is what is the big mean.
Shalom. Thank you.
Okay, so with that being said, let me see where I was at. Okay. Yeah, we had current events. Okay, here we go.
As President Donald Trump is taking a sledgehammer to climate regulations. And this is not limited to the federal level anymore. Now, Trump has launched an assault on local climate laws. He has issued an executive order. It takes aim at city and state policies that curb carbon emissions and hold big oil responsible for its disastrous contributions to global warming. Trump has called these laws burdensome and unconstitutional. The question is, can the president block local climate regulations? And what does this mean for the US and the fight against climate change? Here's a report.
First, US President Donald Trump moved to decimate federal regulations. And now he's coming for efforts at the local levels, where many leaders are still working to fight the dangers of global warming. Trump has issued an executive order. It aims to block state and city-led efforts like the laws passed to combat climate change and reduce the use of fossil fuels. These have been hailed as the last source of hope in America's climate fight. The order has directed the Department of Justice to identify state laws that address climate change, environmental justice, and carbon emissions, which Trump calls unconstitutional, and to take action to block them. The order says that many states have enacted or are in the process of enacting burdensome and ideologically motivated climate change or energy policies that threaten American energy dominance and our economic and national security. The directive calls out places like Michigan, Colorado, and Minnesota, where laws require all electricity to come from wind, solar, and other carbon-free sources. It also aims at California and Washington, where companies are charged for their carbon emissions. The order specifically attacks the laws in New York and Vermont as well, where fossil fuel companies are held financially responsible for the damage caused by the burning of oil, coal, and gas. The order says that such laws should not stand. So, will they? Experts say that Trump's executive order is broad and vague. So, it's unclear what exactly the Justice Department will target. And the order is essentially a press release. It doesn't have the authority to unilaterally scrap state laws. Instead, the order has invited praise from oil interests and it has outraged advocates of climate action. They call it a disgusting attempt to force everyday people to pay for the toll of climate disasters while shielding the rich who are behind fossil fuel emissions. The US Climate Alliance, which is a group of 24 governors dedicated to climate action, says that it remains undeterred. After all may not be lost. Last month, environmental groups sued the federal government after it froze funds to two Biden-era laws fighting climate change. And now, a judge has ruled that the government must release billions of dollars in funding while the lawsuit proceeds. It's a temporary injunction and a setback for Trump, albeit a minor one. After all, the recent executive order is a small part of a string of attacks by the Trump administration, which is trying to boost domestic energy output and pushing back against policies that curb carbon emissions. Recently, Trump also issued orders to increase coal production, which is the dirtiest and most expensive fossil fuel. And this.
So we can see right here that he ain't leaving no rock unturned. He even dealing with climate change all the way down to the local level. So it's got to be something behind there. But anyway, we can see right here he passed an executive order pertaining to climate change here in America. And then, like I said, from the statewide level. But what I want to deal with is this next video, which is had to do with the shooting they had in Florida State. Okay.
Welcome to Turo. Regarding the Florida State University shooter, and Donald Trump and MAGA should pay close attention. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. As you probably know, yesterday, April 17th, the Tallahassee campus of Florida State University erupted in chaos after a mass shooter opened fire on the student body. 2 people died and 6 others were injured. The incident occurred over several hours as the shooter entered the student union around noon and proceeded to terrorize the campus for the next 3 hours. Take a look at this overview. Now, this is a longer clip, but it's essential for the breaking news we are about to share.
Here's what we know right now about the shooting. Florida State Police identified the shooter as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, the son, again, of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. Tallahassee police say they found a weapon at the scene that was his mother's former service weapon, and a shotgun was also found at the scene there on campus, though it's unclear if it was used in the shooting. Eichner was shot, but is still alive at this hour in a hospital there in the Tallahassee area. Police say, though, he is refusing to speak with them.
That's right. He has non-life-threatening injuries. This all unfolding at the Student Union, the heart of FSU. It's a central gathering place for students. The Student Union, again, in the middle of this sprawling large campus where more than 44,000 students are enrolled and 16,000 employees. And you have to keep in mind, the shooting started there near the Student Union at 11:50, just around lunchtime, where many people would have been gathered to eat or meet up or go to work at the student union.
Yeah. Yes, and we're now getting images of the suspect from his social media, but that Instagram account has been since shut down. We know that he was a student at FSU. Before that, he went to Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. We also know that Eichner was very close to the law enforcement community. His mother is Jessica Eichner, a veteran deputy with Leon County Sheriff's Office, who for several years was a school resource deputy. We are told that he used her old service weapon that she personally owned, authorities say, in that attack.
At the time of this report, the names of the victims in this attack have not been made public, though police have confirmed they were 2 adult men, not students at the university. Phoenix Eichner, the suspect in question, sustained injuries in his arrest, but they are not life-threatening. At the time of this report, he still has yet to cooperate with police. Still, details have begun to emerge. More on those in a moment. At Occupy Democrats, our hearts and minds go out to the victims of this tragedy. God be with you all. No doubt, as with the ever-growing number of mass attacks like this one, Americans and the world will continue to search for answers as to why this happened, what motivated the attacker, and what could have been done to prevent this tragedy. As those conversations commence, it's important to take into account what has already come to light about Phoenix Eichner. He was a student enrolled at FSU, and now we are learning he was an avid supporter of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. He is a registered Republican in his district, and photos of him wearing a Make America Great Again hat have also surfaced. Coupling with those details, a classmate has also come forward to share his interactions with Eichner. Reed Siebold, who was on campus at the time of the shooting, had a history of strange interactions with Eichner over Eichner's political beliefs. Take a look.
So I spent my first 2 years at Tallahassee, now called Tallahassee State College, but we called it TCC. And I was the president of a political talk group called the Political Roundtable, and he joined the club when I was at TCC. Basically our only rule was no Nazis, colloquially speaking. And he espoused so much white supremacist rhetoric and far right rhetoric as well. To the point where we had to exercise that rule. I also know he was a member of the TCC Turning Point chapter. And since TCC, I have seen him in passing a couple times. Today, I was talking to a friend who had talked to him yesterday, or 2 days ago, pardon me. And he was talking about how he wasn't ready for exams.
To be clear, Reed, I just want to make sure that folks understand this. So you were a transfer student essentially to FSU, right? So you started the first 2 years in Tallahassee, and that is where you knew Phoenix Eichner, this suspected shooter here. And you say that he was essentially, it sounded like, kicked out of a political club that you were in because of his as you described them, views on white supremacy?
Yes, ma'am. So it wasn't necessarily a formal kicking out, but okay. He was asked not to come back, and really what had happened was we had, it was a debate back and forth. And after enough times, I mean, he did not feel welcome because he was not welcome with his rhetoric. We allow people of all, beliefs, creeds, whatever. And he somehow found a way to not fit the bill on everyone else.
We will continue to update you on this story as it develops. One other stands out that I'd like to share. One of the students on campus yesterday, someone who hid in the basement of the student union in a barricaded room, also survived the Parkland school shooting in 2020. He reportedly said he never thought he would have to live through something like this ever again. So here's my question. Why in the name of heaven did he have to? Why can Congress not pass common sense gun reform to keep lunatics from perpetrating this kind of attack? Why do politicians like Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis continue to defend making firearms available to everyone, regardless of having a history of violence or mental health issues? Why, for that matter, can Republican politicians in this country not take steps to address the very real mental health crisis? These people talk about a woke mind virus destroying the country. Phoenix Eichner wasn't queer or gender nonconforming. He's not some immigrant. He's not a defender of racial justice or an advocate for universal health care or any of the other pet issues Trump's Republican Party likes to vilify. He is one of your own, MAGA. The real mind virus, the one that is killing people in this country as you sit there in your red hats and cheer on tariffs and talk about the evils of empathy, is MAGA madness. It is white supremacy, it's authoritarianism, it's glorifying violence, it's toxic gender roles, it's government corruption, and it is lies. The constant normalizing of gaslighting, lies. So here we are in MAGA's America, and yet somehow the path to making America great is littered with the bodies of the innocent.
Okay, any comments on that? Feedback?
Shalom, brother Leonard. I didn't hear how many people were hurt or shot.
Okay.
I don't think they said. So to me, that's interesting.
Oh, so you think they skewed the numbers?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. And the thing about it, trying to hide his affiliation and his ideology, because it's all about the mega movement. That's what it's all about, white supremacy. You know, these are the beginnings of what to be expected was getting ready to happen. Okay. Tied to January 6th. Anybody else? Okay, so with that being said, go to my need to know information. Okay. So they didn't turn up the heat over there in Burkina Faso with Tory. Check this out.
Burkina Faso is on attack. So yesterday, Burkina Faso was
attacked the whole country of Burkina Faso.
Attacked by an Islam-affiliated group.
Burkina Faso was attacked yesterday, and there are a lot of casualties. A town in northern area of Burkina Faso called Jibo was attacked yesterday by jihadist force. This force is affiliated by supporters of Muslim and Islamic.
But we actually know who is attacking Burkina Faso. And let me tell you, it is bloody because Burkina Faso has faced one of the largest casualties in an attack.
And they say that they're not going to stop there. They will continue until they attack Ouagadougou. This is the capital city of Burkina Faso. They are targeting to go to Ibrahim Traoré and harm him. They want Ibrahim Traoré to step down. Remember, that's another 39 people who are wanted in Burkina Faso because they wanted to take him out. And these people, they are from Burkina Faso, but they escaped in the neighboring countries. These people, they are consist of journalists and activists who are saying that there is no freedom in Burkina Faso, that they cannot say anything at all. And if you see the things that they are posting on their social media account, I just wonder, Ibrahim Traoré is just trying everything to make Burkina Faso better, but these people, they just don't want change at all. They are getting paid for money just to tarnish the name of Ibrahim Traoré and Burkina Faso. There are a lot of different protests all over, from France, even Italy, even in Burkina Faso. Some of the people, they are demanding Ibrahim Traoré to stay in power, and some of the people, they want him to step down.
And let me tell you, there are so many protests in France and Italy demanding Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré to step down. Because these Western countries have not succeeded in putting Ibrahim Traoré down, now they have paid a jihadi group. And this jihadi group yesterday attacked a community in Burkina Faso, ending the lives of so many Burkinabés. Let me tell you, it's bloody. I don't want even you to see the videos that are coming from Burkina Faso. And this jihadi group is now saying that it will advance to Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. Now, good news is that Ibrahim Traoré has not been touched. He's very safe, and he has sworn he's going to fight to the end and liberate Burkina Faso from Western power. Let us continue praying for Burkina Faso. Let us continue praying for Ibrahim Traoré.
Burkina Faso stood on the edge of a blade. Smoke still lingered in the air from the Battle of Dori. Families mourned their dead. Villages rebuilt in silence. And in the distance, the enemy still watched. But despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, one thing stood unshaken: the people's trust in Captain Ibrahim Traoré. They called him Le Gardien du Faso, the guardian of the nation. Ouagadougou was on high alert. Intelligence warned of a possible coordinated strike in the next 72 hours. The jihadist forces were rearming, this time with foreign backing. But inside the presidential compound, Captain Traoré was calm, focused, wearing his faded military jacket, the same one from his earliest battles. He addressed his war council. "We were not chosen by chance. This land called us. Our ancestors are watching. Let them see that their blood was not spilled in vain. He did not speak like a politician. He spoke like a soldier, like a son of the soil. In the dusty village of Sapui, an old griot spoke to children under the moonlight. You see this captain. He carries Sankara in his eyes. He fears no man. He walks with the ancestors. In Bobo Dioulasso, blacksmiths forged new machetes, not to sell, but to prepare. Volunteers drilled in schoolyards. Women formed healing circles. Even elders took shifts guarding community wells. If Traore does not sleep, then neither will we. The platform solely for African stories. A Burundian beatmaker released a viral track called Traore Flow, blending war drums with ame piano. Asterisk, an Ivorian cartoonist, published a graphic novel. Traore, defender of the red soil.
So what they did, they didn't muster up this Islamic army, I guess, and put it together, and now they're attacking the whole country of Burkina Faso. They're trying to wipe it out. But they ain't in the news. Anybody got any comments? Anybody hear anything about that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. I didn't hear about this, but a while ago he refused
No, sir, I
to
haven't
build
heard.
300 mosques or 200 mosques.
You say you're gonna build them?
No, sir, he refused to build them. They offered the Saudis or whatever had offered to build 200 and he refused.
Okay, right. So that explains a lot right there. That's who they're being attacked by, Islamists, an Islamic group. Okay, yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna go to Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they want to talk about? Any dialogue? Questions? Okay, everybody good?
Shalom. Yes, sir. Y'all was talking about another shooting. I missed that. I knew about Florida, but is it another one since then?
There's one in Florida State. The one that was in Florida State.
Okay, yes, sir. They were saying it was 2 dead and 6 wounded. That's with the suspect himself.
Right. Yeah. That was the focus was I was talking about how it's tied to Trump and to the mega movement. The guy, you know, and those are the things to be looking forward to in the future because that's going to only escalate. Right. And a lot of people don't really understand the breadth and depth of that because they don't understand what has happened. Like I said, if you watch that documentary on bad faith and how the origins of Christian nationalism and how bad it's spread and their ideology, you'll be alarmed. A lot of people don't understand how Trump got in the White House and what's behind it. When they do, you'll be more alert because we're in some real dangerous times and people don't even know it. Okay, so everybody good with that? We'll play this here, then we'll go into the lesson.
America, it seems, has a fever, not for disco this time, but for panic buying. The phenomenon that gripped the nation during the early days of the pandemic is back, and it's more intense than ever. Supermarkets are once again facing bare shelves. Essential items are disappearing at an alarming rate, leaving many to wonder if they will be able to find what they need. Images of overflowing shopping carts are flooding social media. People are sharing their experiences, some with a sense of urgency, others with a touch of humor, but all with a common thread of concern. Remember the great toilet paper shortage of 2020? It was a time when finding a roll of toilet paper felt like striking gold. The shelves were empty and the panic was palpable. Well, buckle up because round 2 has officially begun. The lines are forming once again and the carts are being filled to the brim as people prepare for the unknown. From coast to coast, Americans are stocking up. It's a scene that's playing out in cities and towns across the country, with people buying in bulk to ensure they have enough to get by. They're driven by fear and uncertainty. The reasons may vary, but the underlying emotion is the same. People are worried about what the future holds, and they're taking action to protect themselves and their families. This time, it's not a pandemic causing the chaos. The shelves are emptying for reasons that are more complex and multifaceted. It's something arguably more complex: economics. Supply chain disruptions, inflation, and global market instability are all contributing to the current situation. Experts are weighing in, trying to make sense of the chaos and offer solutions. The supply chain issues that started during the pandemic have not fully resolved. Cargo ships are still backed up at ports, and the flow of goods is slower than it used to be. Factories are struggling to keep up with demand, and warehouses are finding it difficult to maintain their inventory levels. The ripple effects are being felt in supermarkets across the nation. Inflation is another key factor. Prices are rising and consumers are feeling the pinch. The cost of everyday items is going up, and people are buying more now to avoid paying even higher prices later. Families are planning their shopping trips more carefully, making lists and prioritizing what they need most. The goal is to be prepared for whatever comes next without breaking the bank. Community food banks are also feeling the strain. As more people turn to them for help, they are working tirelessly to meet the increased demand. The media is covering the story extensively, and the public is paying close attention. Everyone is looking for answers and hoping for a resolution. Government officials are stepping in, discussing measures to stabilize the economy and ensure that essential goods remain available. The situation is fluid, and decisions are being made in real time. In the meantime, supermarkets are doing their best to restock their shelves and reassure their customers. The hope is that with time and effort, the panic will subside and normalcy will return. Until then, shoppers are encouraged to stay calm, buy only what they need, and trust that the system will eventually catch up. After all, we've been through this before, and we've come out the other side. The return of panic buying is a reminder of the fragility of our supply chains and the importance of preparedness. But it's also a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the American people. In the end, it's about coming together, supporting one another, and finding ways to navigate these challenging times, because no matter what, we will get through this just as we have before.
Okay, any comments on that? Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna play this. Then we go. I skipped over this and play it because I think it's interesting and it's informative. Check it out.
Of the week has been a series of stories, actually, and this is the threat to United States citizens. If they can remove resistance elements, if the government and these fascists and Donald Trump can remove the voices that are advocating for those that are voiceless, it's going to be an easier job to fundamentally change and alter our culture, our country. And that's what they're trying to do, up to and including detaining American citizens. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, the jackbooted armed agents of the state, are detaining American citizens, but also, as an operation of harassment, are sending letters, emails in this case, to American citizens.
Yeah, check this out.
Telling them to self-deport. This first, telling them to leave the country immediately. This first one is Lisa Anderson. She's a U.S. citizen born in Pennsylvania. Listen, you're going to hear a lot of people talk about the difference between documented immigrants, undocumented immigrants, naturalized citizens, American-born citizens. None of this matters, but it should matter to conservatives. It should matter to conservatives who talk about American citizenship being something special, something magical even. That we are imbued from God with American citizenship. That's why we are better, we are special, we are different, because we're Americans. Unless you don't align with your politics with Donald Trump and his fascist agenda for the country, then your citizenship is meaningless. So much so that we'll send you emails telling you to get out of the country immediately under the guise of the power of the United States government. This is a big deal. I got a clip here from NBC talking about this doctor, this American-born doctor, who is now seeking an immigration lawyer to ensure that she's not deported. An American doesn't need an immigration lawyer to ensure that they're not deported. If they can do it to a random doctor in Pennsylvania, they can certainly do it to you. They could certainly do it to me. They can certainly do it to anybody who's an opponent of Donald Trump. And they want to do this kind of shit with no due process, as we've witnessed over the course of the past several weeks. Here's this clip from NBC about Lisa Anderson. Watch this.
It's time for you to leave the United States. That's the first sentence Lisa Anderson saw in an email she got from the Department of Homeland Security Friday.
The language seems pretty threatening to whoever it might actually apply to.
She thought it was spam at first, but the email was very real after Anderson had it vetted. What created confusion is that Anderson, who's a physician and lives in Cromwell, was born in Pennsylvania and is a U.S. citizen.
I really have no idea how my email ended up on that list unless someone else was using that as a false email.
She now carries her passport on the advice of attorneys and is looking for representation from an actual immigration attorney worried about legal repercussions, something she never thought she would ever need.
I don't have anything to do with immigration, and I never thought that I would be needed the services of an immigration attorney either, and that's where I find myself.
This comes just days after two Boston immigration attorneys got the same email from DHS despite being U.S. citizens themselves. A senior DHS official telling our sister station, NBC Boston, that Customs and Border Protection has been sending these emails to people who do not have lawful status in the U.S., saying, quote, if a non-personal email, such as an American citizen contact, was provided by the alien, notices may have been sent to unintended recipients. CBP is monitoring communications and will address any issues on a case-by-case basis. Anderson is warning anyone who may have gotten the emails to take them seriously and get legal help.
It does make me concerned. There's a lot more people out there like me who probably also thought this was spam, who probably don't realize that they might have a problem.
She's reaching out to an immigration attorney, something she'd never imagined she'd ever have to do as a U.S. citizen, something none of us would have to imagine we'd have to do as U.S. citizens. Why would I have need? Why would you have need? Why would Lisa Anderson have need for an immigration attorney within the borders of the country she was born in? The quote, it does make me concerned. There are a lot more people out there like me who probably also thought this was spam, who probably didn't realize I have a problem, she said. If she's not safe, we're not safe. Donald Trump is trying to fundamentally, structurally change the demographic makeup of this country, removing both ethnicities he doesn't want here, religions he doesn't want here, but also ideologies, political opinions that he doesn't want here. This was a US born citizen, but it's also happening to naturalized citizens, and in this case, an immigration lawyer in Massachusetts.
Getting an email over the weekend to tell you to leave the country immediately. That happened to a lot of folks across Boston. Not only people moving through the immigration process, but U.S. citizens as well.
I know that it didn't pertain to me because I'm a U.S. citizen.
Carmen Bello is talking about the notice she got this weekend from the Department of Homeland Security, stating boldly in the email, it's time for you to leave the United States.
I believe it's a scare tactic. I know that psychologically, just seeing a letter like this saying you have to leave the country because you're here legally.
Bello has been a U.S. citizen for decades after coming here from the Dominican Republic. Today, she's been trying to calm down her clients as they're trying to figure out their next move in the immigration process. You're as American as apple pie.
I am. Yes, I've been here my whole life.
And it's not just immigrants getting notices. Attorney Nicole Micciarone has a U.S. passport, birth certificate, and driver's license to prove her citizenship. And she got the same message. Do not attempt to remain in the United States. The federal government will find you. Please depart the United States immediately. Immigration attorneys like Bello and Micciarone now understand why they're getting these emails.
Administration is not paying attention when they're sending these emails because they are just sending to anyone that has an email in any of the paroles application. That's how I figure out that's the way they're doing it.
Okay, any comments on that? I think she got it backwards, but yeah. Any comments?
Shalom. If they're looking at these people's parents, because they've been born here in the United States, but their parents are from some other place. And if that's the case, Donald Trump is one of them. His parents is not wasn't a citizen of the United States, and he was born here in the United States. So and this person said that she was here for decades. They're not saying her age, but again, these emails that's going out, they are targeting the people and he's saying that the young man said that he can be deported. It's his parents. He didn't say his parents were from another country or not, but if it's just going to go to even American citizens whose parents are American, it's going to be something else that they can pull up to your home or come to you and arrest you, and you don't know what's going on when you ignore that email that comes to your home or to your mailbox.
Anybody else?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I think it sounds like Pastor Manning.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what that is. Like I said, she got it wrong saying that they made a mistake. No, you got to go back and look at who was the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's the nut bucket mega lady that's she tied to that what I was talking about with the religion I was talking about. I can't think of the name of it. I was saying it just a minute ago. But her and the guy Hatsat that's over Secretary of Defense. Those are the two people that's going to advise him for tomorrow, dealing with the passing martial law. She's one of them. She's the one that's behind these letters. And if you go back to what Hitler was doing, he started out the same way. Everybody was fumbling with it, thinking that it wasn't nothing serious, but it's serious. No, the Gestapo. Before you know it, he had took over the whole country and was killing people, had people put in internment camps and all that. These are the beginning rings of it. They ain't made no mistake. They know exactly what they're doing. And so the thing about it, if these are people, he said, white folks that was born here, they don't have no connection to the immigration system. So if they get letters, what you think they're gonna do with us? When this thing come all the way out in the open. Okay, yeah, so that's something to think about. Anybody else got anything on that?
Oh, and shalom, Brother Leonard. I wanted to add too, I seen somebody that was a Trump supporter talking about too. He was talking about Black Americans actually being a illegal cargo, like we was brought here like as illegal cargo, and that's a part of how they gonna start getting us out of here. He was like supporting that idea.
Right, exactly, right. So in all actuality, they want to go back and say, we immigrants. When you go back to how we got here, that's the the mind of these people we dealing with. And everybody just excusing it, like the man was just saying what this guy just did in Florida. We don't see the severity of it. We don't understand how widespread these people are. What has happened? Okay. So you got to be deranged to say, we're gonna make America great again. And when you look around and see all the things that's how the world has changed, but you saying that you want to take it back to when America, when it was all white, and everybody else was subject to the white man. And the same way with Trump, you got you got BRICS country that overcame them, right? Then they got 160 countries that's leaning toward BRICS, but you come with tariffs. You got to be deranged. Even though we know he ain't behind it, it's the people that's got him doing that. They deranged. Because how you gonna win? You're not gonna win. You're an idiot. That's what that is. And it's dangerous. Everybody acting as if it's gonna go away like a cold. It ain't going away. These people, we see what they're doing to the government. They ain't not trying to leave everything like it is. They're trying to totally annihilate the system that's in place. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? So yeah, I say the topic for discussion for the class today is this great fire, right? And so you say we know from the book of Enoch and how that in the beginning, well, first of all, we go to Ezekiel chapter 1. We know that God of Israel, the God that's over the whole universe, the creator God, he's a consuming fire. And we understand that he's let me read it. There might be some people that's listening that haven't seen this before or heard this before. But Ezekiel chapter 1, okay, verses, it describes the creator of the universe, the God of the whole world, right? Yahweh. Start at verse 25. Ezekiel 1:25 says, there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads, over these four angels' heads, right? When they stood and had let down their wings, right? And above the firmament that were over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as appearance of a sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness and appearance of a man above or upon it. So this sounds like any other man. This how we get the image that we have today, because it came from this image from the creator, right? This how he has the shape, the silhouette of a man. But 27 says, and I saw as a color of amber, which is fire. When you see fire burning, you see amber in the fire, right? As the appearance of fire around about it, within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, right? From his loins, from his waist up, and even from the appearance of his loins even downward. So from his waist downward, I saw. Ezekiel telling us, I saw it. It was the appearance of fire, and it had a brightness round about it. So he see a man, no flesh on him. He's pure fire. That's the creator. So from the creator, he formed seven angels. From him, his essence is fire. So he created these seven angels that we call archangels. From that, they pure fire. So I'm telling you this because you got to understand this and understand everything else that's going on in the scriptures and how things unfolded. And so we're gonna go forward from there with that understanding. So you got these seven angels that go in the very beginning. They going to and fro over the whole earth doing this bidding for him. But their beginnings came from him. He formed them from himself. Right. So understanding that these 7 beings that form from him, wherever they go, Creator can be in heaven, sitting on his throne, but wherever they go, whatever they see, he can see it. That's why the eyes of the Lord. Everywhere he go, everything these angels, when these angels see, whatever they see, he's sitting on his throne, he can see it. You gotta understand that. So when they say this great fire, that's what he's talking about. And we're gonna read some scriptures, do a little scripture sweep through the Tanakh, and but this is the basis. This is where the fire came from. So we know that the 200 angels came down from heaven, defiled themselves, and then they started all this corruption on earth. They created the giants, and when they created the giants, these giants died, but they had a spirit that was a mingled spirit that the Creator had nothing to do with. So those 200 angels are beings that they're eternal beings. When the Creator created them, they was eternal beings. So like I said, nuclear waste is somewhere he had to put them. Just like with nuclear, you can't take nuclear waste from a nuclear reactor and just go put it in the trash can and for the trash man to come get it. Because thousands and thousands of people gonna die. So it's a certain place you got to put that nuclear waste. So those 200 angels, in order for them to stop the destruction that they was doing on the earth, he had to find a place to put them. So he created hell, what they call Guyana, right? So when he created hell, we know there's fire in hell. So that's the same fire that came from him. So what did the fire do? We know that with Elijah, the 200 priests of Baal, they had a contest. And the first he said, make your sacrifice to your God, and then put your sacrifice on the altar, then let your God come down and burn it with fire. It ain't happening because it ain't but one fire. It's righteous fire that's coming from the Creator, the one I just showed you. So they jumped and cut themselves and flipped and dipped and did all this, and then I came down to burn their sacrifice. Then Elijah put his sacrifice on the altar, prayed to the God of Israel, God of heaven, and then the fire came down. So you say, what are you talking about? Fire is judgment. The fire, that consuming fire is judgment. So that's what's in hell. The same in hell, when they send these angels, these wicked ass spirits and all that, they go to hell. The fire that's in hell is judgment. So where did it come from? From the Creator. Same fire that you see in heaven came from him. So let's look at some of these verses and connect these dots. Let me go to Leviticus 9 first. Like I said, you won't understand what's going on unless you understand what I was just talking about, where the fire came from. Okay, so I'm in Leviticus 9. Read it right quick. Okay. Okay. 9. It says 9 and so it says, and there came a fire out from and upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat, which when all the people saw, they shouted and they fell on their faces. So the fire came out and consumed the burnt offering. This happened over and over again in Israel, right? Because we know what happened Day of Atonement, that sacrifice on there. We know that happened with Abraham in Genesis 15. He told him Abraham was looking for a seed, a son. He didn't have no son, and so he put he already had Ishmael, but he wanted a son from him and Sarah. So he did a sacrifice, and the Lord sent the fire down and burned the sacrifice up. Right? Ain't no other fire. Ain't no other fire. And, you got fire that you strike up with, start campfire and all that. But we talking about this supernatural, this fire here. It ain't no other fire. Whether it's in hell or whether it's in heaven, it came from the Creator. Okay, so keep going. Go to Exodus 24 and 12. Exodus 24 and 12. It says, so I go to this verse all the time. This is when the elders went up on Mount Sinai, and the 7 elders went up on Mount Sinai with Mount Horeb. I'm thinking Mount Horeb with Moses. And when they got out there, like I said, they saw the Creator. But this point I want to make, verse 10. Moses and these 7 elders went up, and they get to verse 10. They saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, the work of a sapphire stone. That's the same stone that I just showed you in Ezekiel chapter 1. Same being, Creator. So they saw the paved work of a sapphire stone, as it were, the body of heaven and filled. They go to 7 angels that came from him. They consumed fire. That's why when Michael met Moses on Mount Horeb, he changed into this same fire. He changed into fire. This is true essence to draw Moses there. And then when Moses got close to where it was at, then Yahweh that's in heaven, Michael was there on the ground, but Yahweh in heaven, he was able to talk through Michael, because they all the same essence, through Michael to Moses. That's why it's a great fire. But anyway, we keep going to 12. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. Moses rose up and his minister Joshua. Here you go. So it's a whole bunch of information in here. 13. Moses rose up and his minister Joshua. And Moses went up into the mount of God. So there goes, I was telling you about the lie they tell us about you're going to raise up a prophet like unto Moses. And they tell you that's Jesus right here. Jesus ain't with Moses. Joshua with Moses. When he went into the cloud, Joshua with him. So he said, I'm going to raise up a prophet like unto Moses. That's what a prophet. But anyway, I don't want to get digressed, but I just wanted to show you that while we was there. So anyway, then I'm going to read 24, 12 through 18. Okay. And it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, come up hither unto me into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and law and the commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God, and he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Ur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let them come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and the cloud covered the mount. So like I said before, what you have to do is go back to Ezekiel chapter 7. Yahweh ain't the only one in the cloud, right? So Moses went up into the cloud, they covered the mount, and the glory of the Lord shone upon the Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day, he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud, and the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire. There it is. This is the great fire, a devouring fire on top of the mount, in the eyes of all the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So right here, what you have to understand, this when we got the Torah. Wasn't no Torah for this. So what these 40 days and 40 nights they're in this cloud, like I said, Yahweh ain't the only one in there. Yahweh consuming fire, he consume Moses, he'll burn him up. So we know it's 4 other angels in there, the Lord of hosts in there. The Lord of hosts gave Moses the Torah. He told him everything that had happened that we read in Genesis and Exodus. He told him all that, and he brought him up the path on to his life when he was born in Egypt. He brought him all the way up to that. That's what the Torah and the Tanakh is all about. He gave Moses the history of the world from the beginning to his life. So like I said before, go back to how we've been brainwashed. What was they reading? What was Abraham reading? What books were they reading? They weren't reading these books because they ain't have it. They just got it right here. But what was it? What was our forefathers reading before Moses? The book of Enoch. That's what they was reading. And you can even see with your journey, the little things that you done found out about once you got a hold to the book of Enoch. Look what it did to your understanding. So that's what they was reading. But anyway, we get back to this. So it says, they go up on the mountain, and Yahweh in there, but these other 4 angels in there with him, right? And that's how he got the 10 Commandments. Not from Yahweh, he got them from Moses, from the Lord of hosts. He in the cloud with him. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm gonna go to Exodus 19. I'm gonna have to read all of it because get to understand it. But my focus is gonna be on verse 18. I'm gonna read all of it. So it says, Israel at Mount Sinai, and in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, and they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and they pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called. See that? And people reading over that. Moses went up unto God, the Yahweh in the cloud, but Lord in there too. And the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus. So remember, when he went up there the first time, when he's keeping the sheep, he went to the mountain of God, but there was an angel up there. And he transformed into fire. Now he done went and got the children of Israel like he told him, brought them back there. Now the cloud there. Yahweh there also. But the Lord of hosts is there too. So it says, Moses went up to God, right? Because he in the cloud. And the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say unto the house of Israel, to Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bore you upon the eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. So we see, here go the wings again, what AJ was talking about. It says, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings. He got wings. and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice, Exodus 23:20, right, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou spake unto the children of Israel. Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord which hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify. See this? Look at this, check it out. The Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them today, tomorrow, let them wash their clothes and be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people on Mount Sinai, and thou shalt set bounds. See that? Now, this is how you rightly divide this. Like I said, the Lord of hosts in the cloud also. Lord Yahweh in the cloud, but the Lord of hosts is there. Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, they're in there. So it says, he tells Moses, the Lord of hosts, said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes and be ready against the third day. For the third day, see, they want you to think it's the same person, but it says, when you understand what's going on, be ready against the third day. For the third day, Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon the Mount Sinai. So you say, why you say that? 12. And thou shalt set bounds upon the mountain round about, saying, take heed to yourself that ye go not up into the mount or touch the borders of it. Whatsoever toucheth the mount shall surely be dead. He been coming down he came and talked to Moses, to Abraham in Genesis 12. They ain't have to set no bounds and do none of that. And then did nothing happen to Abraham. But Yahweh finna come down right here. So he says, set bounds, because of Yahweh is a consuming fire. He's a devouring fire. He ain't like Michael. Michael is a lesser than him. These 7 angels is lesser. They come from him, but they're not. He's a consuming fire. And this is the purpose he made them, because he can't deal with people. So he sent his strong one to tell them, verse 12, thou shalt set bounds to the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that ye go up into the mount, or touch the borders of whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not be a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be a beast or a man, it shall not live. And when the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. So he means don't go into your wives. Like 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there was a thunder and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount. And the voice of the trumpet sounded exceedingly loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled, right? And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet God. And they stood at the nether part of the mount. And the mount was here, like I said, you can see right here, this ain't the same person, same being. 18, the verse I wanted to go to. And the Mount Sinai was all together on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. Remember that, as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. We don't see that when Michael come down as Yahweh, right? They tricked it off. I want you to think that Michael and Yahweh the same being, but he just warned Moses that my boss can't come down here. Okay, you can't deal with me, you're dealing with me. Okay, so anyway, go to Exodus 13:21. You read that. 13:21, it says, so right here it says 20, and they took this when they came out of Egypt, and they took their journey from Sackcloth, and they camped in Eden, in the edge of the wilderness, and the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them by the way, and the night in a pillar of a fire to give them light to go by the night. And he took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. So when you understand that, like I said, we already know what's in the cloud. So during the day, they in the cloud, they following that cloud. Yahweh in the cloud, and these other angels in the cloud. But when night comes, Michael come out of the cloud, comes down and get him light. And then we notice, we say, well, what are you talking about? Well, when the Egyptians came to overtake them, he moved around from the front of them to the back. That's how we know it's the Lord of hosts. The consuming fire. Okay? So anyway, keep going to I'm gonna go to Numbers 11:1. Numbers 11:1 says and let me see if I'm in the right place. Numbers. Okay, let me see if I'm in the right place. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And they said, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. So, like I said before, judgment. This fire is judgment. So it says, we read it again. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. So when the fire came to these wicked Israelites, whoever they was, and they burnt them up. So go to the wicked spirits that's in Guyana, and go to the whoever go down there. The fire that's down there is from Yahweh. Ain't no other fire. It's hell. It's judgment. Okay. Anyway, it says, and I'm in Deuteronomy chapter 5. Then I'm gonna go to Book of Enoch and Joshua for some comparisons. Then we'll pick a scripture. Okay. So I'm in Deuteronomy chapter 5, right? Verse 24. Maybe even read it. Let me see. Deuteronomy 5 and 24 says, and he said, behold, the Lord our God hath showed us his glory. Here you go. And the Lord and he said, behold, the Lord our God hath showed us his glory and his greatness. And we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. And we have seen this day that God doeth talk with man, and he live. So we know that ain't Yahweh, because we ain't been talking to him and live. So then it says, it says, and now, therefore, why should we die for this great fire? Go to great fire. Now, therefore, or why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God anymore, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that have heard the voice of the living God speaking out of the midst of the fire as we have and live? Go thus, go thou near and hear all that the Lord our God shall say, and speak thou unto us all that the Lord thy God shall speak unto thee, and we shall hear it and do it. And the Lord heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me. And the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. And they have well said all that they have spoken. Of that there were such a heart in them that they would fear me and keep all my commandments, right? Always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go say to them, get ye into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess. So there you go right here. I told you. This the top. This when Moses see the Torah. See the Torah. Verse 31. But as for thee, like I said, when you understand the order, Yahweh on his throne, the person that's on Yahweh's right hand is Michael. Ain't JC. But you say, what are you talking about? Well, I'm gonna read this. Deuteronomy 5:31. But as for thee, Lord of hosts, talking to Moses, right? Remember, Michael's coming from the right-hand side of Yahweh down to the earth. So now he on the earth, he talking to Moses right here in 31. But as for thee, see that? Stand thou here by me. By where? On his right hand. And I will speak unto thee, just like Yahweh doing him. I will speak unto thee all the commandments Yahweh gave them to him. Now he got Moses standing on his right side, and he giving them to Moses, and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them. Yahweh taught him them that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess. Ye shall observe to do, therefore, as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess it. See that? So you say, what are you talking about? Yahweh gave him the land. I told you that 70 angels during the time of the Tower of Babel when the land was divided up. Michael got the land of Israel, land of Canaan. Now he's doing the same thing that was done to him. Now he giving the land to Israel, land that was given to him. Okay. So anyway, go to Deuteronomy. I'm gonna read 1 through 6. Deuteronomy 5, 1 through 6. Okay, it says, and Moses called all Israel and said unto them, hear ye, O Israel, the statutes and the judgments, which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us who are all of us here alive this day. So they, like I said, before the flood, they not included in this. They wasn't at the mountain. Even Shem and Eve and all them, they wasn't at this mountain. 4, the Lord talked with face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. I stood between the Lord and you at that time. See that? Moses. I stood between the Lord and you, between Michael, Lord of hosts. I talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire, and I stood between the Lord and you at that time to show you the words of the Lord, for ye were afraid by reason of the fire. See that? And went not up into the mount, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. So there it is. Now I want to read, see. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna go to Joshua right quick. Well, first I go to the book of Enoch in 71 to show you the same fire. There ain't no other fire. So Enoch 71. So I'll read. Let me see. It's only 28 verses. I'm in 71. It says, and it came to pass after this that my spirit, Enoch, was translated and it ascended into heaven. So he was on the earth. Now his spirit being translated into heaven. I saw the holy sons of God stepping on flames of fire. They go to fire. That's these 7 angels. Their garments were white, and their raiment and their faces shone like the snow. And I saw 2 streams of fire, and the light of that fire shone like a halogen, and I fell on my face before the Lord. So just the light right here that we were talking about the other day when they returned to the earth. That shone. This is the light that shone before we made the sun and the moon. Right here. Their garments were white, and their raiment and their faces shone like the snow. And I saw 2 streams of fire, and the light of that fire shone like a halogen. You know how halogen lamps on the car do, how bright they are. And I fell on my face before the Lord of spirits. And the angel Michael, see that? And the angel Michael, one of the archangels, seized me by my right hand, and I lifted me up and led me forth into all secrets. So let's go back to what I just told you. So Yahweh in the cloud and these 4 angels. When he went up, when he said Moses went up into the cloud, Michael met him. Same right here. It says, I fell on my face before the Lord of spirits. That's Yahweh. Then 6. And the archangel Michael. He right there too. The archangel Michael, one of the archangels, seized me by my right hand and lifted me up and led me forth into all secrets. Not Yahweh, Michael. And he showed me all the secrets. Same with Moses. Same thing he's doing right here. He did it with Moses. And he showed me all the secrets of the righteousness. And he showed me all the secrets of the ears of heaven. And he showed me all the chambers of all the stars and all the luminaries which they proceeded before the face of the holy ones. That's the 7 angels. And he translated my spirit into the heavens of heaven. There you go. He translated my spirit into the heavens of heaven, and I saw there, as it were, a structure built of crystal. And between these crystal tongues, and between the crystals, tongues of living fire. See that? Living fire. The fire got a mind of its own. Ain't like the fire that you kindle up on earth. It's a living fire. And my spirit saw the girdle which encircled the house of fire. So this house circled with this structure in heaven that Yahweh got, his house, his temple, is encircled with a house of fire, the same fire. On its 4 sides were streams of full living fire. And they were bound to that house. And round about were seraphim and cherubim, oraphim, and these are they who sleep not, and they guard the throne of his glory. See that? And I saw angels who could not be counted, even thousands and thousands times, 1,000 times, 10,000. And Michael, here you go. Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Phinehas, they the ones inside the cloud. And the holy angels who are above the heavens go in and out of this house. And they came forth from the house, and Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Phinehas, and many holy angels without number. And with them, the head of days, his head white and pure as wool and his raiment indescribable. And I fell on my face, and my whole body became relaxed, and my spirit was transfigured. And I cried with a loud voice with the spirit of power, and blessed and glorified and extolled him. These blessings which went forth out of my mouth were well pleasing before the Lord, the head of days. And the head of days came with Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Phinehal, thousands and 10,000s of angels without number. Okay. And the angel who talked with me came to me, greeted me with his voice, and said to me, see right here, I was telling you about how they tricked this off. So Michael came to Enoch, and he said right here, this is the Son of Man who is born under righteousness, and righteousness abide over him, and righteousness of the head of days forsake him not. So this is the Son of Man. They took this title and put it on JC. But Enoch is that Son of Man. Michael tells, this is the Son of Man who is born under righteousness, righteousness abide over him, and righteousness of the head of days forsake him not JC. And he said unto me, he proclaimed unto thee peace in the name of the worlds to come. See that? Peace into the name of the worlds to come. That's what we at now. So how he got a son? JC. When he just told Enoch he the Son of Man, and then peace gonna be on you in the name of the worlds to come. See that? For from hence has proceeded peace since the creation of the world, and so shall it be unto thee forever and ever. And all shall walk in his ways, since righteousness never forsook him. See that? So go back up. The head of days of forsake him not. Now you go down here, 26. All shall walk in his way, Enoch, in his ways, since righteousness never forsook him. With him will be their dwelling places, and with him their heritage, and they shall be separated. They shall not be separated from him for ever and ever and ever. And there shall be length of days with that Son of Man. See that? With Enoch. And righteousness shall have peace and upright ways in the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. But anyway, so like I said, we see that ain't no other fire, right? So we saw how this fire that's got human characteristics, got a mind of its own, is all circling all around the temple that Yahweh's in. The same fire is what those 7 archangels was made out of. The same fire is what Yahweh made out of. So let's look at it right quick. I'm in the book of Enoch. I'm in the book of Jasher, right? This when Moses, a lot of people don't know it, but Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was put in the furnace. But before that, Moses was put in the furnace by Nimrod. And verse 20, I'm in Jasher 20, let me get it, 12, verse 26. And let me go, no, I'm starting at 18. Okay, yeah, I'm starting at 18. And Haran at that time felt inclined to follow the ways of Abraham, but he kept it to himself. And Haran said in his heart, behold, now that the king has seized Abraham on account of these things which Abraham did, and it shall come to pass that if Abraham prevailed over the king, I will follow him. But if the king prevail, I will go after the king. Like I said, that's just like saying and but. The Most High, you can't deal with the Most High with that. Either you with him or you not, and it's gonna cost you if you ain't. And when Terah had spoken this to the king concerning Haran his son, the king ordered Haran to be seized with Abraham, and they brought them, Abraham and Haran his brother, cast them into the fire. Right? It's the regular fire that we know. And all the inhabitants of the land, and the king's servants and the princes, and all the women and the little ones were there, standing that day over them. And the king's servants took Abraham and his brother, and they stripped them of all their clothes, except in their lower garment which were upon them. And they bound their hands and their feet with linen cords. And the servants of the king lifted them up and cast them into the furnace. See that? And the Lord loved Abraham, and he had compassion on him. And the Lord came down and delivered Abraham from the fire, right? And he was not burned. But all the cords with which they bound him were burned, while Abraham remained and walked about in the fire. And Haran died when they had cast him into the fire, and he was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with the Lord. And those men who cast him into the fire, check it out. Those men who cast him into the fire, the flames of the fire spread over them, and they were burned. And 12 men of them died. And Abraham walked, Abraham walked in the midst of the fire 3 days, 3 nights. JC, go to JC. 3 days, 3 nights. Abraham walked in the midst of the fire 3 days and 3 nights. And all the servants of the king saw him walking in the fire. And they came and they told the king, saying, Behold, we have seen Abraham walking about in the midst of the fire. Even the lower garments which are upon him are not bound, but the cords with which he was bound is burned. And when the king heard these words, his heart fainted, and he would not believe them. So he sent other faithful princes to see this matter, and they went and saw it and told it to the king. And the king rose to go to see it, and he saw Abraham walking to and fro in the midst of the fire. And he saw Haran's body burned, and the king wondered greatly. And the king ordered Abraham to be taken out of the fire, and his servants approached to take him out. Look at this. And the king ordered Abraham to be taken out of the fire, right? And his servants approached to take him out of the fire. For the fire round about, same fire that was around in the heavens of heaven, around Yahweh's throne. The fire was round about, the flames ascending toward them from the furnace. See that? Got a mind of their own. And the king's servants fled from it. And the king rebuked them, saying, Make haste and bring Abraham out of the fire, that ye shall not die. And when the servants of the king again approached to bring Abraham out, the flames came up upon them, burned their faces, so that 8 of them died. And when the king saw that his servants could not approach the fire, see that? Finally realized this ain't no regular fire. Lest they should be burned, the king called to Abraham, O servant of God, who is in heaven, see that? Come forth from the midst of the fire and come hither before me. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of the king, and he went forth from the fire. And he came and he stood before the king. See that? So you say, what you talking about? What's going on? Well, wasn't Michael able to transform on the bush, and the bush didn't burn? So this is he right here. That's him in the fire, but he's a consuming fire. He's in there in the form of fire, taking Abraham. This great fire. Now one more place, then we'll pick the scripture. So I'm in Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. Okay. 17 through 30. Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego. And it be so. This is chapter 3 of Daniel, verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us. See that? So you say, what are you talking about? If it be so, our God who we serve is able to deliver us from the burning furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand. See that? O king. So what we looking at? It ain't Yahweh that this fire that came and got Abraham out. It was the Lord of hosts. So he says, if it be so, our God, Michael, whom we serve, is able. See that? He can transform into fire, right, and deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hands, O King. But if not, be it known unto thee, O King, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his vesture was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it won't be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into a burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats and their hoses and their hats and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished. See that? Rose up in haste, spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men into the midst of the fire? Right? And they answered and said unto the king, true, O king. And he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. See that? It can't be Yahweh. He's the Son of God. See that? Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth, right, came forth of the midst of the fire. So we see right here how ain't no regular fire, ain't no other fire like this. Nowhere in this universe. And when you see this fire right here, know that it came from the Creator. Know it's attached to the Creator, to Yahweh. But let me show you the setup that's getting ready to happen. And this Creator and the God of hosts does this over and over again. It says, let me get it. This is how crazy it is. It says, verse 19, right? We know the Most High in the beginning created 7 angels from fire, right? So we in verse 19. This is Nebuchadnezzar. So Donald Trump ain't no different. Bush or Obama ain't no different. 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his vesture was changed. So he pissed off against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? And he commanded, look at this, that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was. Won't not be heated. See that? So let that furnace. How many angels the Most High created? So he's sitting there thinking that he's doing something spectacular by heating up the furnace 7 times hotter than what it was. Now understanding that way in the beginning, the Creator created 7 angels from fire. Which fire gonna succeed? Okay, let that furnace. Okay, anybody got any comments or questions? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so I mean I wanted to go in on that because a lot of people not really understand the ramifications of that. So let me go to one more verse because it's just sticking in my head. So Nebuchadnezzar, Shadrach, and Meshach, and Abednego told. Let me go back over here. Okay, I can't let this slide. So Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego told the Nebuchadnezzar, says, let me get it. 17, 3 and 17 of Daniel. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand. See that? Now, let's go to Isaiah. I'm always reading. Like I said. So we go to Isaiah 43. Right? I read this all the time. Verse 10, 43 and 10. Ye are my witnesses, said the Lord. Right? So he's screaming through the scriptures, through the ages, to us who he is. He said, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand I am he. And before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am the Lord, and besides me there is no Savior. I have declared, I have saved, and I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, that I am God. Yea, before the day was, I am he. And there is none that can deliver out of my hands. I will work, and who will let? That's what Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego was telling Nebuchadnezzar. Ain't nobody can deliver out of, he's the one. He gonna pluck him out of, he gonna pluck us out your hand. But can't nobody pluck them out of his hand. Come on. So anyway, that being said, anybody got somebody want to pick a scripture and we'll break it down?
Shalom.
Daniel 12
Michelle, go ahead and read it.
and 2.
Shalom, everyone. Brother Leonard, I was going to read Isaiah chapter 63, verses 15 through 19, tying in with what you just read with Isaiah.
2.
Go ahead.
With
Isaiah
what you was just tying. Isaiah chapter 63, starting with verse 15 and ending with verse 19, saying Israel's Father and Redeemer. Verse 15, look down from heaven and behold from the habitation of thy holiness and of thy glory. Where is thy zeal and thy strength, the sounding of thy bowels and of thy mercies towards me? Are they restrained? Doubtless thou art our father through Abraham. Be ignorant of us, and Israel acknowledge us not. Thou, O Lord, art our father, our Redeemer. Thy name is from everlasting. Verse 17, O Lord, thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden our heart from thy fear. Return from thy servant's sake the tribes of thy inheritance. The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. Our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. 19, where are thine? Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. That was Isaiah chapter 63, verses 15 through 19. And that just shows again who our Redeemer is. Tied in with chapter 43 with some of what you read. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, that make a lot of sense. Anybody else got anything on that? Any more comments or questions before we go? Okay. So we'll have our close out Shabbat at 6 o'clock. So I see everybody then. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.